President Nana Akufo-Addo during the opening of COP29 conference in Azerbaijan is very worrying. Let's take a listen to what the president said and continue when we're back with the press statement by the coalition.
Affecting our farmers, coastlines and communities. Rising temperatures and unpredictable weather threaten our livelihoods daily. Yet we respond with resilience and commitment. In 2021, Ghana submitted updated nationally determined contributions to the United Nations, encompassing 47 programs to mitigate and adapt to climate impacts. Our goal is to cut emissions by 64 million metric tons by 2030, demanding investments between 10 and 15 billion United States dollars. Despite financial and technical hurdles, we're determined to meet the Paris Agreement's goals across agriculture, transport, forestry, energy, and other sectors. We have made strides. The Green Ghana project has planted 50 million trees, and forest restoration efforts have covered 721,000 hectares since 2017 when I came to office. 13 mitigation actions have cut annual greenhouse gas emissions by 43% since 2021. Ghana's national electric vehicle policy, backed by tax incentives, promotes sustainable mobility, and our energy transition framework steers us to President of the Republic of Ghana. Today we gather not merely as leaders or policymakers.
So this was the speech the president delivered some weeks ago at Azerbaijan, and the coalition against Galamsey have issued a statement. Let's put on the screens what exactly they want the president to do. About 22 members have petitioned, let me just say, issued a statement led by Kenneth Ashigbe, and it reads, the press statement, the contradictions in Ghana forest restoration claims at COP29, and that is the letterhead. It says that Accra, Thursday, November 21, 2024, President Nana Akufo-Addo's recent statement at the UNFCCC COP29 in Baku, where he declared Ghana has restored 721,000 hectares of forest since 2017. The letter continues to say that the president's announcement fails to align with the stark realities on the ground. While we were surprisingly planting trees, we simultaneously and actively pursued policies and legislation that facilitated the destruction of national forests, undermining Ghana's hard-earned reputation and progress in sustainable forest management over the past 2 decades. Let me quickly brush down to the last 2 paragraphs of the letter, which says, Mr. President, have you truly reflected on how future generations will remember your time in office? Will they regard you as a leader who stood ideally by while Ghanaians' natural heritage was recklessly plundered? The letter continues saying that regrettably, every illness, every fatality, and every community devastated by Galamsey and unlicensed mining pollutions will indelibly mark your legacy. And that was the coalition, about 22 members who have tailored this petition. In subsequent bulletin, we will be engaging the members on to understand what exactly they want the president to do. But let's bring you some election news, and you're reminded that here at ABC, we are your poll center. We're back with some election news. Do stay. back. Let's do some election stories. And the Electoral Commission has destroyed defective ballot papers originally intended for the Ahafo and Volta region following the discovery of serialization errors. The distraction took place on Thursday, November 21, under the strict supervision of police officers and representatives from various political parties. The transfer of the flawed ballots was halted immediately after the issues were identified. In response, the EC contracted bulk press and act commercials to handle the reprinting of new era free ballots to ensure the integrity of the electoral process. The EC has dismissed claims that the political parties were responsible for recovering the defect, asserting that its internal quality control mechanism flagged the issues. However, the National Democratic Congress has insisted that their representatives identified the problems leading to the corrective measures. These developments come as part of EC's ongoing preparations for the 2024 general elections, where ensuring transparency and avoiding discrepancies are critical and maintaining public trust in the process. We're still on some election news. The Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service and Chairman of the Electoral Security Task Force, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, has called on political parties and independent candidates to manage their expectations in the upcoming 2024 election, stressing the importance of maintaining peace and stability in what is expected to be a win-or-lose contest. This message was delivered yesterday, November 21, during a police briefing with representatives from all political parties outlining the forces' preparations for the election. Derek Kumikisiedu has more in this report.
Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, with all other election security task force, held a press briefing yesterday, November 21, 2024, to brief representative of all political parties on police preparation towards the 2024 general election. During the brief, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare called on political parties and independent candidates to manage their expectation for the upcoming elections, stressing that the contest is a win or lose scenario that must be conducted in a peaceful and stable environment.
Will win, the rest will not win. In the same way, the 801 vying for a position of 276, only 276 will win, the rest will not win. We need to come to this realization and therefore measure our expectations. As you plan to celebrate your victory, your possible victory, plan also to celebrate your possible defeat.
During the first phase of the briefing, all political parties were given a platform to share their expectations on security of the upcoming general elections.
Once the uniform is off, you are just like me. Once this political accolade is off, I'm just like you. So I have this simple message that we should never think that Ghana has friends.
And during the review meeting, someone asked the EC what they are doing about those who lost their lives. And the EC rightly said that they are not in charge of security.
We want to reserve all our comments until we hear from the security agencies, except to say that we expect professionalism so that the peace and stability of our dear nation can be ensured.
I think we would be very happy to listen to what you people have from the police, and we will make our comments later on. Thank you very much.
The second phase of the meeting was done behind closed doors. After the meeting, the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Justin Frimpong-Kodia, stated that the Security Task Force reassured the political parties that there will be a peaceful election and has also cautioned people with the intention to cause mayhem on December 7.
We believe the assurances that the heads of the various security agencies have given to us. We are going to have a very peaceful election. And in fact, they even sent a caution that if there is anyone in this country harboring any intention to cause mayhem on December 7, the president have these few days to change that mindset, because there will be maximum security on December 7th, and no one will be allowed to misbehave or cause mayhem to destroy that enviable democratic success that we have achieved as a country. So if that's assured, I want to...
NDC's Director of Elections, Dr. Omane Boama, expressed satisfaction of the decision not to allow lethal weapons ahead of the elections.
Security agencies are saying there should be no lethal weapons at the polling stations. That is very good. We are also gladdened that they are saying that the military will only be a last resort.
Let's have a conversation on the back of this, and joining us on the line is for a conversation is Mustafa Gbande, the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Mustafa, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
First, let me take your thought on the press briefing on what's transpired between the various political parties and the IGP.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. First of all, I think that one of the social policies of the NDC and its flag bearer, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is to ensure that as much as possible the election remain very peaceful, and then also we have a country that will be peaceful to contain all political parties, including the NPP and the NDC. We all have been worried about pestilence of violence and all of that, attacks and counterattacks. And so our hope was that the police remain a buffer, and the only determinant as far as our peace is concerned. What it means is that the NDC is willing to cooperate with the efforts of the police to ensure that the election remain very peaceful and peaceful at that. There is no need for an NPP person to die because of an election. There is no need for an NDC person to die because of an election. It is important that we know that as political players and as we seek to develop a nation, we also begin to create a one nation. And that is what my flag bearer represents, and that is what he stood for. The other divide, I think that even yesterday when the IGP spoke, I saw that they frowned their faces. It means that they were not happy when the IGP even threatened that anybody who attempt to cause violence will be dealt with. And I was a bit wondering why the MPP guys will frown their faces. But I can assure you that we will protect the democracy of this country. We would ensure that the election remain peaceful. We will ensure that the 2020 election does not embody any electoral malpractice. It will be as transparent as possible, even if the Electoral Commission fails to be transparent. The citizens of this country and the political parties owe unto themselves a duty to ensure that the election is one man, one vote. And the NDC will stand on that protocol to ensure that the election is transparent.
Said that the NDC will protect the democracy of this election. On our platform also, we have engaged some of your party executives who have also made some wild assertions, even as the elections approaches. What exactly, and of course yesterday at the meeting, your director of IT, Mr. Omane Boama, also said that this is going to be a very productive measure by the IGP, or let me just say the security apparatus, in collaboration with the stakeholders, which is, are you not contradicting yourself in this situation where the NDC is saying that you are going to protect the democracy of your elections at all costs? Then again, you hear some of your party executives on the contrary saying things, igniting, I should say, tensions in the atmosphere.
I have the utmost authority on behalf of the General Secretary of the party, the flag bearer, and the National Chairman of the party to assure our listeners that the NDC is committed to a violence-free election. We have tried to caution our brothers on the other side. We have tried to call them on board. Look, let us allow Ghanaians to choose their leader. I wish that all political parties, including the MPP, will remain very vigilant at the polls sit down at the polling station, monitor the election, ensure that your people vote. Let's ensure that a vote is counted, properly counted, and declaration in good faith is done to the person who have emerged as a winner. In the event that the MPP decide to heed to violence, we ourselves as a political party have fortified our party enough to contain any violent activity. So I can assure you that the election is going to be very peaceful. We will cooperate with the police. Now, the IGP also assures that he's going to be the commander-in-chief of the election, which means that we will not see a situation where people wearing military uniforms are targeting civilians and all of that. So I want to use this medium to call on both NDC and MPP that anywhere you see a military officer unauthorized in the election, citizens should arrest the persons and hand them over to the police. It is our duty to do that to ensure that the election is peaceful, even to prevent individuals who would have used fake uniforms to commit political atrocities. We should be willing to be bold enough to arrest such persons and hand them over to the police.
Let me drift away from the NDC, but yesterday the Electoral Commission apparently set on a blaze about 184 presidential ballot papers in the Ahafo region and the voter region. Yet we have heard that your polling agent at the region is not so happy, even though the EC has said that this is a way of making the election transparent. What is the position of the NDC?
I am yet to get into details, but it is within the authority and the law of the commission to, as it were, destroyed either tempered ballot papers, overly printed ballot papers, or otherwise ballot papers that are not wanted. So if that is what they have done, I am to get the full briefing on that matter and to be able to comment appropriately.
Aside from that, there have been some delay in the printing of the ballot ballots of in the voter region.
Well, I think the Electoral Commission communicated that to all of us, that due to some errors, they were going to have to change or change the vendorship. The problem is not really a delay. The problem is the quality of register. That has always been the cry of the NDC. And so we would all want to go to a pools where we go there and people's names have been removed and they've been transferred to places where they have not registered to vote. That is the major concern of the NDC going into the election. But we have assured the Commission that...
Hello, Bangde?
Competence of the Commission, such persons cannot vote. Their names have been transferred. We will ensure that they cast their vote because they are holding certificate of registration to show that they have duly registered to vote at a particular polling station, and that because of the administrative errors of the Commission, they have had their names transferred. That would have to be dealt with, and the Electoral Commission should be dealing with that.
Mustafa, finally, let me ask from you. We have barely 13 days to the election. Is the NDC confident now that there's transparency from the EC for a free, transparent election?
The Electoral Commission, as it states, have never been transparent, and we all know that. The Electoral Commission have never been competent, and we all know that. The Electoral Commission is flowered with political animals who've been put there to as it were, orchestrate electoral manipulation. But we have remained very strong and vigilant. And I can assure you that regardless the incompetence and the malaise of the Electoral Commission, based on its poor ability to give the people of Ghana confidence to believe that they are truly independent and transparent, we ourselves will ensure that the election is transparent. And that is what the NDC is committed in doing.
Thank you, Mustafa, for your time this afternoon. We have been speaking with the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Gbandem, on the back of the EC, and the the security meeting the IGP had together with stakeholders in the 2024 election. Let's do some more news here. And the former president and flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, has pledged to establish an agricultural university in the Front Plains if elected the president in the 2024 general elections. Speaking to party supporters in the Front Plains constituency, Mahama revealed that his previous administration had secured a loan from Korea to fund the project, but the initiative was derailed by the current NPP government, which redirected the funds.
Designed for bridge. Yɛde betwa nsuo yi na yɛnuanom abrɛ so sika ne ban call parliament ama yɛde ensa eto so bibia yɛnyina yɛnim sɛ bridge ba enso bosia omobo yɛboɔ ebeda ne ka eto Ghana so omutimi ntua biom enti abra omosi omutimi ntua ka no ɛna abrɔfo no sika na modern money aye bridge no omo sign and so nana no mamon paba NDC empuntu ohene eba ye ba bebia ebenye sika bia bridge no eye priority ye beba behwe ne aye abra ye wa ban mu ye ko Korea koje bosia se Afran place ye bebie university wo ha na fofia ntoata NDCC form no Yenyano baya sasika no omo de akọ baby foforo I just say university anka ye besi wo ha no omo de ko enti mamon paba ye ba sa university aye ka say ye besi no ye be pesika ni abesi sa agriculture university na university no ebe wo ne headquarters ewo Somanya Eastern University ni esi ye no na ne campus bi no ba ko bewo Afran Plains South na ba ko so awo Afran Plains North se ebe ye kwan ba ko kura ampo Afran Plains mo kwan eno na beba first.
Let's still maintain focus on the NDC. This time, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman, the running mate for the former president John Dramani Mahama and flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, has highlighted that the NDC's plan for establishing the Women's Development Bank is to ease the burden on families. She made this statement during her last of the two-day tour in the Upper West region, which began on November 19 and ended yesterday, November 20, 2024.
Of the party and of that of His Excellency, the proposal is to create a women's development bank, a bank that is sensitive to our needs. We don't want all the money in the world. We just want a little bit to push our businesses to grow them. We want the interest to be very low so that even when we make profit, we can put profit into our business. We can also use some to take care of our children, to take care of the home. In the wisdom of the party and of that of His Excellency, the proposal is to create a women's development bank, a bank that is sensitive to our needs. We don't want all the money in the world. We just want a little bit to push our businesses to grow them. We want the interest to be very low so that even when we make profit, we can put profit into our business. We can also use some to take care of our children, to take care of the home.
That was the leader of the NDC. Let's take a quick break. When we are back, we have some more stories to stay.
All be lie. Thank you, boss. See you next week. Yo, where is my passport? Where is my passport? Yo, man, I want to Waba.
Who is Maba?
And then give me
my passport.
Relax.
You made me pay for express for 24 hours and yet it's not in.
You told me that you are telling me this. What's going on? Hello.
This man here has taken my money. That within 24 hours he'll do my passport for me.
Oh, see that's the same thing applies to me. He told me last night. He's telling me this week. Process. That's what they do. Yeah. Oh, madam. Please relax. I'll get for you in 24 hours. Hey, Goroma. So you never change? Eh? You get passport for someone within 24 hours, Madam Obwa. See, the normal working hours is 9 to 5. Not 24 hours, yeah, I'm fat. You guys have made a very big mistake by trusting these people. Now, through digitalization, passport application has been made so easy. Now, you don't need to stress yourself and join any long queue for your passport. All you have to do is to log on to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website and begin your application. By buying a passport application voucher online. Simple and easy. And very soon, all you need to get your passport will be your Ghana card. What is it true? Obisa. It is possible.
You are so quiet, you didn't know this. I feel obvious.
Come on. Come on. Give me money.
You all come back. Now let's give you some campaign trail, and on campaign trail today we take a look at the campaign, at the activities of the wives of the various presidential candidates ahead of the elections. And as you know, this particular platform is given on this particular I should say segment. We give the political parties to have their say and say on what exactly their campaign is faring. We're back after this. On Campaign Show today, we take a look at the campaigns, at the activities of the wives of the various presidential candidates ahead of the elections. The political parties have thrown these female figures into active campaign activities across the country. Now, they have not also taken back seats, but are also on the forefront of the campaign, convincing electorates to vote for their husbands and any response to the parties or make any drastic change in the upcoming elections. We want to engage some of the parties involved, and let's engage Patricia Christabel Tremontin. Well, we are trying, my producer tells me that we are trying to establish contact with Patricia Christabel Tremontin, the wife of independent presidential candidate Alan Kojo Tremontin. As you all know, 14 days to the election, and we see the women taking center stage on the campaign. What does this mean for the elections, and how does this even hold? But let's take a listen at what Patricia has been saying. She is with the Movement for Change. When we're back, we have more. And that was Patricia Christabel Tremontin, the wife of independent presidential candidate of Alan Kojo Tremontin. And she has been joined, we have been joined on the line by her. Good afternoon, madam. Now, 14 days to the elections. How has campaign been for yourself and your husband?
The campaign has been wonderful. The reception from Ghanaians and the citizenry has been superb. Why do I say that? Because 80% of Ghanaians now are crying out for change, because both the NDC and the MPP have failed Ghana. The NPP and the NDC have been in power for 32 years, and yet we have an economy in tatters, still in crisis. There are no jobs. There's still doomsday. People don't even have potable water. Our roads are still very bad. There is still very serious corruption in the high places and in government. Both parties have not been able to deal with Galamsey. And so you reach out to them with the good news from Alan, and they are thrilled. They're waiting for the 7th of December to vote Alan and vote Asieho. They tell you that they feel Alan is the best alternative to save Ghana now. Why? Because of his vision for Ghana, because of his integrity, because of his capacity for action, and his character and his charisma. Most of them have heard about Alan's great transformational plan, and they know without a shadow of doubt that it has all it takes to save Ghana, unlike the manifestos of both parties, which carries only mere promises and which they have experienced over the 32 years, and which they know that after these parties have been voted in government, no one holds them accountable. No one holds them accountable. All they do is to promise and execute part of the contract, and for the rest of the contract, they just leave it. They cannot hold the most important thing, which is at the heart of the citizenry, and that is the economy. And so we realize that for both parties, after their term of office, they have misspent, mismanaged, and all they will do is to go to the IMF and borrow. Now, what we find ourselves in, this despondency that Ghanaians are faced with, and this hopelessness that we are faced with at the moment, is because we've gone back to the IMF. And the IMF now is telling our leaders, the government, that we cannot borrow anymore for the next 5 years, not even borrow from the Bank of Ghana, as we have so dismally done.
Patricia, we'll come to all of that. But I also want to find out from you, as we speak now, the former president, John Dramani Mahama, is in the Eastern region. We also told yesterday the First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, has also stormed the Eastern region campaigning. How are you also campaigning to ensure victory for your husband in the elections?
I have traveled the length and breadth of this country, and especially our villages. I have gone to the Eastern. I come from the Eastern region. I have done the Eastern region. I have done Ashanti region. I have campaigned, like saying, in the length and breadth of this country. And that is how come I know, without a shadow of doubt, that 80% of Ghanaians are crying out for change, and 80% of Ghanaians are hoping and praying that Alan John Kojo Kyerematen will be voted into power, and he will come and make a difference in the lives of Ghanaians. They have had enough. They are crying out loud. They've been crying for a savior all these years. You know as well as I do that most Ghanaians have been crying out for an alternative, and not just any alternative, a credible alternative, and that they can find in Alan John Kojo Kyerematen and his movement for change.
Well, you say that the alternative is Alan Kyerematen, but looking at the various polls that we have had, the Afrobarometer report and other surveys, it doesn't really put the movement for change even above the two political parties. So how is this going to happen?
Well, you know as well as I do that our polls are not foolproof. Now, the system is highly not. The system is not very honest when it comes to these things. It is not transparent when it comes to these things. And we have a typical example in the U.S. where all the polls came out for Kamala Harris. You know, people, the citizenry, and the 20% that is really enjoying in this country are struggling and fighting against change. The system is seriously compromised. And I beg to say It cuts across all sectors of the country. You have media people who are compromised. You have people in government who are compromised. You have people in business who are compromised. And that small percentage is struggling to keep the status quo going. The 80% of Ghanaians who are suffering, who are poor, who cannot afford 3 square meals a day, are crying for the change. So obviously, and corruption is very high. And so people pay, and they give an impression that one person or the other is not going to make it, or doesn't even count, or doesn't even belong. And I will tell you, I can put my best foot forward and say that this elections is a 3-horse race. It's a 3-horse race between Alan John Kojo Chematin, former President John Mahama, and Alhaji Bawumia, Dr. Alhaji Bawumia. Now, when you put these 3 personalities out there, you put them on a scale, so to speak. Which of them do you think is going to carry the day? But you have these pollsters, you have these prophets of doom, all, saying what they feel will benefit where their mouth is and where their stomach is. I do not agree with them.
Well, Patricia, some of the polls have even projected that Cheddar, who is the leader of the new force, is even ahead of your husband. How is this? I mean, let me land, Patricia. How is this? I mean, what is the fate of Alan Kojo Chematin in the Ashanti region, and what does this actually say of his prominence in the Ashanti region?
If you ask me, I will tell you. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Because, you see, I cannot go to these pollsters and tell them or offer them, something to make, to put something out there that benefits Alan. But it's just wait. Let's wait and see. Now, people are using this Cheddar against Alan just to make those who have put those who know what Alan is worth, those who know that he's the best man for the job, those who talk about his integrity, those who talk about his charisma, those who talk about his capacity for action, his impeccable character. They just put these things out there to dampen the spirits of those who feel that he's the best man for the job. But I will say again that let's wait and see.
Obviously, Patricia, we would wait and see. We're so much grateful for your time. We have been speaking to Patricia Christabel Chematin, who is the wife of independent presidential candidate Alan Kojo Chematin. Well, she says, let's wait and see. And of course, we will be waiting to see how the outcome of this election. But Samira Bawumia, who is the wife of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has stated that she is impressed with the government's policy and programs which have made an impact on Ghanaians. Now, mentioning that becoming a First Lady is about giving people's chance to express an incredible leadership. Let's take a listen to what she also has been speaking about.
Those are the stories that inspire, and those are the stories that tell you that the policies, the programs of government has enormous impact on people. And she said even her child had asked her to come. They wanted the parents in school. She said, so this is somebody whose life is about to change. And for me personally, I know that but for education, I wouldn't be where I am today. So going around the country, what really impresses me, it doesn't surprise me as much, but it's still very impressive when you hear how our government's policies and programs has made a positive impact in people's lives. I think about it as giving Ghana a chance to experience an incredible leader. And I know Dr. Bawumia, he's obviously my husband, but he's
and Lady of the Republic of Ghana, Samira Bawumia, she has thrown her full support behind the incumbent Vice President and the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party of the 2024 presidential election. Speaking in an interview, the wife of the presidential candidate stated that Bawumia will be the next president of the Republic, adding that she will continue to do her best in whatever capacity she has found herself.
In the last nearly 8 years, in fact, all the years preceding, but especially as vice president, I've watched him solve problems, stay up all night, work 7-day weeks, do whatever he can to be of impact and make a difference. And I know as president, he will be an incredible man. And so for me, that is what inspires me. When I was campaigning as the wife of the running mate, it was slightly different, but now the pressure is, because being at the head is different, but it's still the same. Once you believe in what you're putting out there, once you believe in the candidates that you're putting across, and I have no doubts that Dr. Bawumia will be the president that Ghana needs from this stage forth. Honestly, I haven't given it a thought. As I said, for me, I'm campaigning for His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to become the next president of the Republic.
Well, that's how we draw the curtain on today on Campaign Trail. When we are back, we have some business stories to stay. And in business, the 17th Global Entrepreneurs Week, an annual event dedicated to promoting entrepreneurship worldwide and inspiring individuals to explore their entrepreneurial potential, is being celebrated this year at Akintan Apia Menkwa University of Skills Training and Entrepreneurial Development. The university is hosting the Mastered Virtual Entrepreneurship Week in line with the global celebration running from November 18 to 24, 2024. This year's event is themed "Entrepreneurship is for Everyone," unquote. But joining us on Zoom is Eunice Amwakwa Botre, the founder of Africa Entrepreneurs Alliance, for a brief conversation about the essence of the celebration. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What has been the challenges of entrepreneurship in Ghana or Africa?
Well, the challenges has been the support, financial support, and then creating much awareness on the importance of entrepreneurship. I think these are some few challenges we have here in Africa.
And what does the theme resonate with the reality of handling businesses?
Come again, please.
Yeah, I was asking, how does the theme resonate with the reality of handling business?
The theme of our event?
Yes, I mean.
Okay, so our theme is empowering entrepreneur excellence, scaling businesses, transforming lives. So we want to see growth in our businesses. We want to see that whatever we are doing is being scaled up. We want to see a difference. Basically, we want to see growth in everything that we are doing.
And people want to know the difference this year's celebration would bring compared to previous years.
Okay, the difference is that African Entrepreneurs Alliance, we are having a conference, and this is a free conference that has been brought together by us for entrepreneurs here in Ghana. Absolutely, it's our maiden edition, because we have seen that during the Global Entrepreneurship Week, it's not championed much here in Ghana. So we have brought together the Ghana Entrepreneurship Week Conference, where we have icons, we have entrepreneurs who have been in the system for a very long time with experience, with successful businesses coming to talk to us. They are coming to tell us their story. We are going to have a masterclass where we have tutors going to take us through some various important things that we need to do in our businesses. After that, we have a panel discussion. So this is a maiden edition. This is something new that is being organized here in Ghana during the Global Entrepreneurship Week.
Eunice, finally, what are people to expect when they join this initiative?
What they are to expect is business growth. As a scaling through our theme, we want you to develop your business in diverse ways. This is a masterclass or a gathering that people usually pay for, but we have made it possible for everyone, and it's a free one. So we are expecting that they come in their numbers and they are going to acquire knowledge in diverse ways. So they see so much impact growth in their businesses.
We're grateful for your time. Eunice Amwakwa Botre is the founder of Africa Entrepreneurs Alliance. Eunice, once again, we're so grateful for your time. Let's go for a break. We'll be back soon. Welcome back. Let's do some more local stories. And as the countdown to the election is approaching, constituents of the Ododo constituency shares the economic hardship ahead of the 2024 elections. They mention what will influence their decision come December 7. My colleague Andy Opondenchi has more in this report.
Democratic Congress is heavily dominated in this constituency, that is Ododo constituency, and as we are left with some few days to the election to go to the polls and make a decision, the 7th December 2024, the constituents in this area will make a decision to vote for a member of parliament and also a president of the country. We are here in the constituency to find out from constituents what exactly would influence their votes and as to who they will vote for or whether they will vote or not. Let's find out from them what they had to say.
Ma ebe fine ma ni bi jela wacho ke ochi oya eni no do machine chukwu e me your first ku ku me ten me ju ku ebote sport them she asatena ni do mo bi ene mokokwa
oni amatina so mebo to say awu try we no do soro do ni ama bo kosu too much be just bibia nkoso yi me obia nsi ya pese change government no na yahwe ne obeba no so ne obeye e kire se nwa sesi a na mikoto obi 9 million sesi a 9 million nso nwa ne 5 million and then 9 million enti minimi me hu atomi a meko akovotu what you say me wa hu kire mu nti me ntumi votu o se na kroma ye din no nti yesu ye be vote na yahwe se yesisa na Como subet me assisana se eu bia eu não sei bibia moaye denso minha moaye den bibia keshi mami e wacho mami wa wanye ni wo he ni first go le akeshi ka she election time a chi oni be fi no flon ba shipon sha fi na election time ele ni fia no tenwen no fia no tenwen onye wa kono.
So you have heard it from the members of the constituency, that is Ododo constituency, right here as they shared their views and mentioned what will actually influence their decision for them to vote. Most of them made mention that things are not really going on well and so they are not voting. Others also made mention that they will vote basically because they want development in this constituency. And as we say always on ABC News Ghana, we say we remain your poll center, election poll center, and hashtag vote no violence. Reporting for.
And that was my colleague Andy Opondenchi. As he said, here at ABC we say vote and not violence. We're back with some sports news. Please stay. In sports, Manchester City have announced a 2-year contract extension with Pep Guardiola. Now, this deal will see him remain at the Etihad until the summer of 2027. Guardiola's time at City is one laden with success. he has so far won 11 major trophies, including 4 of the last 5 Premier League titles across all competitions. Now, he has also won 271 of the 374 matches he has overseen, giving him a remarkable win percentage of 72.4%. City have scored 921 goals during that last period at an average of 2.46 goals per game. International news is up next. Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, our party PASTEF, has won a significant majority in the country's legislative elections. According to provisional results, PASTEF secured 130 out of 165 seats in Parliament, giving President Faye a clear mandate to pursue his ambitious reforms agenda. Faye, who came to power in April after a landslide election victory, dissolved the House 2 years into its 5-year term on September 12. He accused the opposition of refusing to pass bills from the executive. Entertainment news is up next. Entertainment in art and culture, Deputy Tourism Minister Marco Mante has announced a significant development on the construction of 5 amphitheater across Ghana. He revealed that funding to complete the project has been secured, with contractors set to return to work. Speaking in an interview, Mante said the delay was due to a shift from perforatable structures to brick and mortar, making the project more durable but also more expensive and time-consuming. The minister shared that the amphitheater are currently 60 to 70% complete, assuring Ghanaians of steady progress. Before we go, let's bring you this story where President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo is set to inaugurate the Tema and Pakadan Standard Gauge Railway line and 2 diesel multiple units. A 97 kilometers standard gauge railway line connects 7 stations along the Tema and Pakadan route. This initiative is part of a broader strategy to phase out outdated narrow gauge rail systems and replace them with more efficient and modern infrastructure. The 2 DMU trains, procured at a cost of $4.2 million, are designed significantly for standard gauge railway and are expected to enhance passenger transport along the corridor. Commercial passenger services commenced earlier this year, providing a faster, more comfortable alternative to road transport for commuters in the region. And that's how we wrap up on this afternoon's bulletin. I am Eric Chunibuamelo. Here at ABC, once again, you are reminded that we will be bringing you a comprehensive coverage of the 2024 election. We say vote and not violence. Also, we are your poll center. Remember that as you go to cast your ballot, you only have one mandate, and that is to vote and not indulge in violence. Have a great weekend. Good afternoon.